Finnish mythology is definitely one of the most curious I have ever found. Their gods are evil, disgusting, and responsible for human suffering. Well, at least part of them. The other is the opposite extreme, with much more hippie and generous gods who love nature and protect humans. In this video, we will meet 14 gods of Finnish mythology. Number 1. Ilmatar. She is known as the Maiden of the Air, deity associated with creation and primordial nature. Before the world as we know it existed, Ilmatar floated in the primordial waters. One day, a bird's egg fell on her knee and broke. The parts of the egg were transformed into the earth, the sky, the clouds, and other features of the world. In this way, Ilmatar played a direct role in the creation of the world. Ilmatar is described as pure and ethereal, representing the creative and formative aspects of the universe. Although she is a deity of the air, her connection to the primordial waters also links her to the element of water. From her waters, Vainamoinen, one of the most important and central heroes of the Kalevala, was born. Vainamoinen is a bard, magician, and sage, and his adventures make up much of the content of the epic poem. The story of Ilmatar and his role in creation is central to Finnish mythology. Number 2. Ukko. Ukko is commonly known as the god of the sky, the atmosphere, and the weather. He is the supreme god in Finnish mythology and holds a position similar to that of Zeus in Greek mythology or Thor in Norse mythology. One of the main symbols associated with Ukko is the hammer, which is often interpreted as a parallel to Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. His hammer is associated with thunder, and when Ukko uses it, it is said to cause storms and lightning. He is shown as a powerful and elderly god who watches from the heavens. While he is known primarily for his control over the weather, he also plays a role in fertility and is invoked to ensure good harvests. Ukko is married to Akka, the goddess of earth and fertility. Together, they represent the duality of heaven and earth. During ancient times, Finns used to offer sacrifices and rituals in honor of Ukko, especially when they needed his intervention for favorable weather conditions or to ensure the fertility of the land. Number 3. Akka. Akka is a female deity linked to the earth and fertility. While Ukko is the sky and thunder, Akka is connected to the earth and its fruits. She is considered a mother and protector deity, invoked especially for fertility and childbirth. She could also be invoked by women for help in matters related to femininity and motherhood. Being an earth goddess, Akka also has connections to agriculture and is honored for ensuring bountiful harvests. There are variations in the stories about Akka depending on sources and regions. In some tales, Akka and Ukko are said to have joined together to create the universe. In others, Akka plays a more passive role, but one that is essential to the balance of the world and the continuity of life. Number 4. Litar. Also known as Lovijatar, she is among the darkest and most fearsome goddesses of the Finnish pantheon. Litar is known as the goddess of pain, sickness, and misfortune. She has malevolent features, is blind and treacherous. Litar was fathered by the east wind and gave birth to 9 children, who are diseases and plagues, including pestilence, gout, and tuberculosis. She represents the hardships of life, disease, and suffering. She is invoked as the mother of many diseases and misfortunes, making her a feared goddess in mythology. Although she is sometimes confused or overlapped with Louhi, the sorceress and main antagonist in the Kalevala, they are distinct entities. While Louhi is known for her tricks and magic and rules the northern territory called Pohjola, Litar is more specifically associated with human suffering and disease. If you want to know more about Louhi, I talk in more detail about her in the Finnish creatures video above. Number 5. Atti. He is known as the god of the deep, the seas and inland waters, such as lakes and rivers. He rules over aquatic creatures and is associated with fishing and the abundance that comes from the waters. Atti is often depicted with a trident or spear. He may have features that link him to the aquatic world, such as scales or a fishtail. He lives in an underwater palace called Atola, a beautiful and magical place full of treasures. In some stories, this palace is shown as a place of abundance and wealth. He is married to Velo, the goddess of waves and currents. Together, they control the movements of the waters and the creatures that live in them. Atti is known to bestow blessings on fishermen and sometimes to cause storms or challenges for those who venture into his domain. Fishermen would offer sacrifices and make promises to Atti to ensure an abundant catch and not be attacked by sea creatures such as Ikuturso, which, by the way, we talked about in the Finnish creatures video. Number 6. Velo. Velo is known as the goddess of waters, waves, and currents. While Atti, her husband, is the god of the deep and the sea creatures, Velo rules the watery surfaces and the movement of the waters. She is described as a beautiful woman who emerges from the waters with aquatic features and attire. Her name is related to the Finnish word veli, meaning water surface, and vela, meaning ripple or wave. Velo has the power to calm waves, control currents, and affect water-related weather. At times, it can be capricious and at times help sailors, while at others it can cause storms and challenges. Like Atti, Velo is said to reside in Ahtola, the underwater palace. He has servants and magical creatures at his disposal. These creatures sometimes come out of the water to interact or interfere with the lives of mortals. Number 7. Tapio. Tapio is the god of forests and hunting. He rules over forest animals and plants, and has influence over hunting and gathering activities. He is depicted as a majestic figure, with features that reflect the forest itself, with a beard made of moss or a headdress of branches and leaves. He can be benevolent and generous, especially towards those who treat the forest with respect, but he can also be a capricious god. Those who entered the forest used to invoke Tapio for protection and good fortune. Finnish hunters used to perform rituals and prayers to gain his favor, hoping for a successful hunt. At the same time, he was asked to keep dangerous animals away and to guide hunters to good prey. Tapio has a family that is also associated with the forest. His wife, Meliki, is the goddess of hunting and forest animals. They have several sons and daughters who represent different aspects of the forest and its creatures, as we will see below. Number 8. Meliki. As we have just seen, Meliki is the wife of Tapio. She is the goddess of forests and animals, in particular hunting animals. She is considered the protector of animals and the one in charge of ensuring that hunters find good prey. She is a beautiful woman with characteristics related to the forest, such as dresses made of green leaves and a crown made of branches. She is often accompanied by different forest animals. Meliki is known for her kind and benevolent nature, especially towards animals. She has the ability to heal injured animals and ensure that the forests are full of life. In addition, she is the creator of bears, one of the most revered animals in Finnish culture. As Tapio's wife, they form a powerful couple who rule and protect the vast forests of Finland. Meliki is believed to help hunters who are respectful and act with honor. She can guide them to prey or even heal their injured animals or pets. Number 9. Tuitar. Tuitar is the queen of Tuonela, the underworld or realm of the dead in Finnish mythology. She is a dark and shadowy goddess, fitting for her role as ruler of the souls of the departed. In song number 16 of the Kalevala, the hero Väinämöinen travels to Tuonela in search of knowledge. During his journey, he encounters obstacles and challenges, and Tuitar plays a large role representing the oppressive and deadly forces of the underworld. Tuitar is delighted to offer him a golden cup of ale, but when he looks closer, he can see that it is actually a black poison made from frog eggs, young poisonous snakes, lizards, snakes, and worms. If a person drinks the brew, known as the beer of forgetfulness, he forgets that he ever existed and cannot return to the land of the living because only Tuitar and the sons of Tuoni were allowed to leave the underworld. In various stories and songs, Tuitar, along with Tuoni and his sons, acts as Tuonela's guardian, making sure that souls who enter do not leave and that the living do not enter without permission. Tuonela, the realm she rules along with Tuoni, is a dark and often dangerous place, but it is also a place of knowledge and wisdom, accessible only to those with the courage and skill to travel there and back. Number 10. Tuoni. Tuoni is the god of death and the ruler of Tuonela. He represents the forces of mortality and the inevitable fate of all living beings. He is depicted with fearsome and grim characteristics. Tuoni, with his family, watches over the souls of the dead in Tuonela, ensuring that they remain in the realm and do not return to the world of the living. Tuoni is a representation of the cycle of life and death, a relentless force in human existence. His domain, the underworld, is a place that all Finns, according to mythology, must visit after their death, a place where the soul rests or faces challenges before continuing its journey. Number 11. Nyrikki. Nyrikki is one of the gods of the hunt in Finnish mythology, protector of hunters and guide for those seeking legendary prey in the forest. He is shown as a horned being with animal-like features, reflecting his dominion over the beasts of the forest. Is the son of Tapio, the god of the forests, and Meliki, the goddess of hunting and forest animals. This family of gods and spirits work together to oversee and maintain the balance in nature between humans and the natural world. Number 12. Ilmatar. Ilmatar is known to be the goddess of pain, suffering, and disease. Her name derives from the Finnish word vamma, which means injury or wound. Ilmatar is one of the most obscure divinities in the Finnish pantheon, associated with various evils and ailments. She represents pain and suffering, especially those related to illness and injury. In some legends, Ilmatar is the mother of Litar, who is another goddess of suffering and misfortune, as we saw above. Although in other versions, Litar and Ilmatar are the same entity or are closely related. It is also possible that Ilmatar is seen as the mother or progenitor of various diseases and evils. She is invoked or mentioned in contexts where there is pain, illness, or suffering. People in ancient Finland could invoke her in healing rituals, asking for relief or protection from illness. Although a feared goddess, she may also have been seen as an entity to bargain with or appease in order to avoid or alleviate suffering. Number 13. Pekko. Pekko is the god of fields, barley, and by extension, beer.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
He is invoked to ensure good harvests and, on festivals, to bless drinking. Pekko does not play a leading role in the best-known stories of the Kalevala, but there are mentions and allusions to him in Finnish folk songs, festivals, and rituals. His importance is felt more in agricultural festivities and harvest-related celebrations. He is recognized as a friendly and protective deity. Pekko has a special place in the heart of Finnish agrarian culture. Invocations to Pekko during festivals and rituals show the importance of ensuring a good harvest and recognizing the relationship between the land, the crop, and the people. His name and figure can be found on some traditional Finnish beers and at craft beer events in the country. Number 14. Tellervo. Tellervo is a minor deity within the family of forest deities and is particularly associated with young animals and the more tender and caring aspects of the forest. She is depicted as a beautiful and radiant young woman, reflecting her connection to youth and rebirth in nature. Tellervo is the daughter of Tapio and Meliki. Along with her brother Nyrikki, she plays a role in overseeing and caring for the forest and its creatures. As a god associated with youth and care, Tellervo symbolizes renewal and growth in nature. The ancient Finns saw the forest not only as a resource, but also as a living being in itself. And Tellervo represents that vital and rejuvenating aspect of the forest. And if you are curious about what the creatures of this peculiar mythology must be like, which as a preview I can tell you are even more sinister, you can watch the video we took about their creatures.